if you have this need and greed for money, money may come because you align yourself with something or whatever, but it will leave you very quickly. Plus, it will not bring you the abundance in your health, your wealth, in your relationships, and in your happiness.
Hey guys, Dr. Viv here, and welcome on Reset with Dr. Viv. Today I have got a special guest, Gull Khan, on, and Gull Khan is an author, she's an international speaker, a podcaster, she's a barrister and attorney, she's an intuitive life coach, mother, and money mind expert, helping entrepreneurs break free from their limiting beliefs about money so that they can live a life of unlimited abundance. But before we get to talking to this amazing woman about how she does all of this, guys, if you have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you've not already subscribed to the podcast, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe now. All links are in description. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and all them, guys, like, come on. I love to connect. So please get following and let us connect. Right. Gull, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being on today.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me as your guest. I'm so excited to speak to you and your audience.
Wow. So Gull, tell me, when I read your profile, I'm like, wow. How did you go from being a banking and finance lawyer to a money mindset expert? How did that happen?
It's a great question, and it took a long time in the making, and things were happening in the background which I didn't realize at the time. So I think, as you know, I'm dyslexic, and I'm not just dyslexic, I'm severely dyslexic. This wasn't assessed because I've been an able student most of my life, and I went to state school, so they don't really bother with you in primary school, and I picked myself up and I did really well. This wasn't assessed until I was 18, 19 years, in terms of my first year of law degree in Queen Mary University. Mm-hmm. So when I found out that when I found I'm dyslexic, not just dyslexic, severely dyslexic, my grades at the time, if you're familiar with the UK education system, I had 5 A-levels, and most of them sciences and straight A's. So even the assessor was shocked, how did you get these grades? Mm-hmm. But I had worked really hard, and I said through hard work, but I didn't realize at the time that I didn't know any better. I did work really hard, but I didn't know any better. And had I not gone in to do a law degree, I don't think it would have been picked up as quickly as it was, because you have so much case law to read and so much writing to do. So that made me think, okay, so what is it that made me successful? So that led me down the path of psychology of success. And I got introduced to Tony Robbins and read his book, Awaken the Giant Within. And it led me down a rabbit hole, I kept, after one after the other. And while I was, pursuing my legal career, I was, finishing my degree and going to the bar, etc. I was also studying, psychology of success, what makes successful, and I had the aspiration of becoming a millionaire by the time before I was 30. I hit that at 27, and I was doing this, but it wasn't anywhere along the lines that I was going to teach it. I was going to become a speaker, or it was far from my thoughts. I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to be a banking finance lawyer. I was earning very good money. It wasn't part of it. It's just the life choices I made along the way took me down a path which it was just a natural progression. When that's another story for another time, and if somebody wants to really listen to the whole detail, they can listen to on episode 1 of my podcast, Money Mindset with Gull Khan. But long story short, when I was staying home, I became a stay-at-home mother at one point in my life. At that point, I was able to go in and look deeply into the energetic side of things. I've always been fascinated by the supernatural and the things that got bumped in the night. But rather than going through the ghost stories, I actually want to see what's across dimensional. We're going to do it from a scientific point of view. I have done science A-levels and have a very logical brain. So that's when I started looking at that energetically, and I became an intuitive life coach, and I went in to do the EFT, emotional freedom technique, Reiki. I did all of that. And again, not once was there any thought in my mind that I was going to go and practice this. I even became a telephone psychic just to practice my skill, not to earn money. Okay, it's just what happened that when I finally left my husband at the time. because according to him cheating on me. I came to a crossroads when I had to make a decision of what I was going to do in my career. At that point, I'd been out of my legal profession for about 10 years. I had 2 young children, and I do come from banking and finance. So if you know anything about the corporate law, you do crazy hours. So as a banking finance lawyer, as a single woman, that's not a problem. I could do 60, 70 hours a week. I couldn't do that with 2 young children. Plus, the idea of going back into the legal environment, I'd changed so much by then by doing all this energy work and so forth that I was a different person. So it didn't appeal to me. And I decided that I was actually going to look into taking this on as a business. Now, when I tried to open this up in the business, and this is in 2016, because I had separated by then, I had no financial way of making forward. I was going through a divorce. I still had property, so I was still a millionaire, but it was just on paper. There's like no cash. I was I was cash poor, and I couldn't sell my properties because we're going through a divorce. So that's a complicated issue that I had. And I found that I had a lot of money blocks. And that's when I went through this whole process. And oh my God, did all the shame and embarrassment, humiliation come to surface? And so the contrast is a woman who was in her mid-20s working as a banking finance lawyer and is working for one of the top law firms of the world. At one point I was working for Skadden Arps, which is a New York law firm, and I was working for them in London. I was making over 6 figures in dollar amounts. In UK terms, it was still about, I think, 80, 90K, which is a huge amount for a 25, 26-year-old, right? From someone like that, I ended up becoming a single mother to 2 kids. And for temporarily, while I applied for welfare, they did give me a welfare until they sort of assessed my thing. I was on welfare, so single mother on welfare. Can you see the contrast, right?
Yeah.
So this is when I realized how important money is. And I had to go through everything I teach now. I had to go through now. So because one of the topics I teach quite extensively is toxic money. I realized how toxic my relationship with money had become, and why I'm called it toxic money was because I needed the money for my husband at the time and to survive, and I loathed it. I absolutely loathed money. I didn't want that money, but I needed to survive. So the more I needed it, the more angry I became with it, and the more toxic the relationship. Not with my partner, obviously that was toxic anyway, but with money. And this is what triggered me that I'm not the only one. There are so many other women in there, not just women, men and women, because I work with both men and women. And people develop these awful relationships with money, and they don't realize that they have a relationship with money because they don't give much importance to it. But because of that toxic relationship, or because of that awful relationship, every other aspect of their life is impacted. Their health, their relationships, their career, their general well-being, and their ability to have that freedom and the mindset to be able to do whatever they want, which is including, giving back to the community, being able to offer support, whatever. And I'm not saying you can't give support and do all these things, without money, but money makes it a lot easier. And money makes your reach a lot further. Without money, you can help one person with your hand, physically help them. With money, you can help 100. That's the difference. And It also changes what you think you're capable of, and what you think, the way you start looking, okay, this is possible for me, that's possible for me. Not just in your money wise, but in terms of your health, with your health, you can lose weight, you can do this and that. It has a knock-on effect on every aspect of your life. It did for me. And this is why I became so passionate about teaching people about changing and with the relationship with money, and having a healthy relationship with money, and not to have the greed and need, but to have a healthy friendship with money.
Wow. wow. And I think, that's so, a lot of what you said there is so interesting and so powerful, like healthy relationship with money, because money is a thing. And, there are many people, many of us have grown up with everything's not about money. But the truth about it is money has power, and, we need money for different things. And I once heard someone say, money is next to air.
I say that, and I go, and Bob Proctor said that to me the first time. He says it in his book, You're Born Rich, that money is just as important as air. And I would go a step further, Vivian. I would say money is more important than air, and ask me why. Because when you die, you don't need money. But in this day and age, when you die, you still need a certain amount of money to be buried, to have that funeral, even a simple one. That's why we have these, these over 55s, care plans and other rubbish, that's come up on the TV all the time, that if you're over 55, blah, blah, this will happen. And I don't think they're funny. I think they're useful, because people need to understand when they pass away, that aspect, the money is required. They need to have that funeral. If you want to have a funeral, even a small size one, it's going to cost £4,000 or £5,000. So you need money even for that. So I'd say with tongue in cheek, saying money is more important than air, but honestly, it is at times.
Wow. Honestly, I take that line really stuck me about having a healthy relationship with
Absolutely.
money.
Absolutely.
Money can be good, but money can be toxic. And it's about the sort of relationship that we choose to have, with it, and we need to have with it. But before we get into more of the money, there's something you said about your, I never know how to say this word.
Dyslexia.
I'm going to allow you say it. Dyslexic, right?
Yeah.
I said it right, okay?
Yeah.
It's interesting that you said you were dyslexic.
Yeah.
But you only found out when you're in law school, and up until then you had been acing it. I find that so amazing. Because many people think, with dyslexia, you may not be able to do this and you may not be able to do that. How did you overcome that? How were you able to ace things all the way only to find out in law school? And what was it about law school that brought that out?
Great question. Well, I was dyslexic, and that should have been, even though this is in the mid-80s, it was, dyslexia was well known even then. It became prominent even then. I basically wasn't even able to read a full sentence in the first year of high school. So for that's around 11, 12 years old. So up until that age, I wasn't able to read a full sentence. But instead of thinking that there's something wrong with me, I just assumed, because my past, because my mom had moved around a lot after my mother and father separated, and all the trauma that she was going through with my brother, somehow I was educated, I was behind education. It was just that. I didn't think that there could be something inherently wrong. And then throughout my life, I've just been making up for it. My GCSE grades are not as good as my A-level grades. I have to say that. And my lowest grade in GCSE was English. I got double C. I still passed, but it was a double C. And I remember thinking at the time, why? And even though my coursework was all A star, but I must have messed up so badly in the exam that I got a double C. Now, I didn't know any better, Vivian. I just studied. That's it. I already was studying. I did the same thing with law, and the only reason why I was picked up by in the first year of law was because I was fortunate enough to be in the class of a teacher who, because I've always been articulate. I've always been, one of the, main head of my class, not to both people. So I just have been excelled academically very, very well. So my teacher knew my ability, and she knew that I was a very powerful speaker, and I was very articulate, and I was intelligent and so forth, but it wasn't reflected on my work as much. And I gave her one piece of written homework. I think we had those hard disks, years ago. I think something happened to that and I lost my work. So I had to give her handwritten work. And all the signs were there of a dyslexic student. So she forced me to, because her daughter's dyslexic, and so that's how she picked it up, because her daughter's dyslexic. She was, these are the signs for dyslexia. She had to force me to go, because my assumption was, if you're dyslexic, you're stupid. I'm like, I'm not stupid, right? And she said, woman, what harm do you got? So I didn't even pay for it. She got the university to pay for my assessment, send me off for assessment, and that's when I realized I was severely dyslexic. By then I had 5 A-levels, chemistry, biology, maths, further maths and IT. And I had, because I struggled with English, I naturally diverted towards sciences. So I excelled in sciences. Right. But I took on the law degree because I am articulate, and I thought I could be a good public speaker, and a barrister is where I was aiming for. And I had all those qualities, but written-wise is where I failed. And this was when I realized that it was dyslexia, which was keeping me back. But I've never let dyslexia hold me back. I always see it as a gift. It still allowed me to excel more than my peers. They would read 3 cases and I would have read 1 or half. Okay, they would have read 3 chapters and I would be still in the first one. But the point was, they would read 3 and forget all 3. I'd read 1 and I would understand it.
Wow.
And because I was able to, because the way, dyslexics brains are, we don't have, information goes to one and goes to the other and comes out. That's how normal people operate. With dyslexia, information goes in and it jumps around, and that's why the numbers and letters jump around, because its information has jumped around from both left and right surface. So but with me, that allowed me to view the situation differently. So I would come up with different arguments, I would see things in different light, and that made me bright from a young age.
Wow.
And that's the gift I took forward. So when I came to doing my law degree, I had already mastered, how to handle and look at things differently. I was probably the one with the unique point of view, and I was, and I had, I think, I don't know where the confidence came from, but I had the confidence to be able to go and say those opinions as well. And that helped me excel in my law degree. So dyslexia never held me back. And I'm so glad that I didn't know that I was dyslexic when I was a child, because I could have thought, I can't do this because I'm dyslexic. I can't do this because I'm dyslexic. That was never an option. Yeah. And when you don't give yourself an option, it's not an option. The failure is not an option. You're going to try until you get there. That's when you're going to excel. And it doesn't matter what field it is.
And you just touched there on the power of labels.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, because when you don't know, when you don't put a label to it, then you seem free. But the moment you begin to put labels on things, you suddenly begin to put limits on yourself.
Yeah, because you tap into that energy. Oh, I love what you just said. It's that exact label. When I talk about this in myself as well. I took on the label of being a single mother, and guess what we think? When we think of single mothers, we think those who struggle with time and finances or whatever else. So when I became a single mother, I became poor. Mm-hmm. And everything around me, even though I'm supposed to be very wealthy, it became unattainable, and I was stuck in this place where I had no money, nothing to go, and I was struggling, literally at one point struggling to how I'm going to feed my kids, because I'm not entitled to state benefits, and my partner's not paying. What do I do? And it's that label, because you adopt all the associated energies that goes with that label, and it's so powerful.
Yeah, no, it is. And we're going to come to the whole psychology of, money in a bit, and, to give advice around money and what people can do. But, there's something else I also picked up from your story, and it's so notable, because what you had was a teacher who had experience of dyslexia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you had another teacher who did not understand the signs, my mind begins to wonder what may have been
different.
And why I'm saying that is because a lot of times people are going through stuff, and things are missed because people don't understand. Agreed.
I think if she hadn't pointed it out, it would have been a lot more difficult for me to complete that law degree. I wouldn't have the grade. I've got a very good law degree, and I think I would not have that because I was realized what causes those issues and how to overcompensate for them. Plus, I had extra time in exam time as well. I separately had extra time to make sure I go through my work again, spell check and all that. And I think there was some leniency towards my handwriting, because handwriting for dyslexics is absolutely atrocious. So I'm not sure if it is, but I'm assuming there was some sort, because my writing is barely legible. The points are valid, but barely legible. But if it wasn't for that, I think my law degree would be a lot different. I would struggle so much more. Plus, I'd be doubting myself more, because I'm thinking, I think that's the first time I thought, I've excelled everywhere. I've got maths is like something I used to get like 99%. I wouldn't get anything less than 90% of maths. So I know I'm an incredibly intelligent woman. What's the issue here? Why can't I make this work? But I'm so glad. And I think that's divine timing. Divine source energy knew that that's the time to tell me that this is the issue you have. You need to deal with it in a different way. Mm-hmm. And any sooner, it would have made me complacent. Any later, then I would have doubted myself. So that's why I believe in divine timing. It was just the right timing, the right person, and right situation.
And I think this is a powerful point for, people in the education sector, even parents and even just people in general to understand these things, that because, you see someone doing something different doesn't mean that they're people. There may be something that you need to look out for. And so before people judge people or make decisions, It's what the question or educating oneself around it. I'm thankful for your teacher. I have to say, I'm very
much so, and I agree. I think, but see, this is the problem. We all want to, we all judge people by the same standards, which is not the case. Somebody could excel in creative arts. Like, I'm not an artist. I'm creative, but I'm not an artist. I can't paint to save my life. But on the other hand, I'm not a singer either, and I'm not a musician. Both my kids are. I'm not. But that doesn't make me any less than them. And this is where I talk about the different in the self-worth and self-esteem issues which come in. When you judge one person or one child based on their comparing them to another child, one child could be a fish and the other could be an elephant. How can you compare the two?
Yeah. Noted. Like, parents, educators, like everyone, like, people are different, and we've got to. I think when I hear your story as well, it makes me you picked up on something as well about the benefits of the dyslexia. Sometimes we don't want disabilities, or we don't in quotes we don't want to say, oh, we have this issue, but even understanding the strength that those things bring.
Oh yeah,
valuable to us.
Yeah, and you should own your aspects of yourself. I don't see dyslexia as shameful. As I initially found out, I thought, oh my goodness, oh my God, what's wrong with me? And over the years, I've processed that through to me thinking, no, that's a gift. So I own it. I own it, and I say, I'm dyslexic. So if you see a spelling mistake, don't bother. Don't worry about it. That's just me being me. And I still don't know the difference between left and right or whatever. So I make a joke out of it, but I own it, and I'm proud to see I am who I am, and dyslexia is part of me. I'm not going to be ashamed about it, because it makes me, if I'm ashamed about being dyslexic, I'm ashamed of being me.
Spot on. I love it. So when we come back to money now, like, tell me more about the psychology of success and how that, impacts on money and our relationship with money.
Well, it's a big topic, but I'm going to talk about it in the shortest form possible. The thing that most people don't realize is we all have a relationship with everything, okay, whether you understand it or not. And this includes money, okay? We all need to, money is not important. Well, actually, you needed to pay the bills, you needed to buy food, you need to buy clothes, you need to buy, if you've got a car, for the maintenance of the car and buying the car and petrol. Do you see what I mean? It's important in both basic elements of our life. Okay? After that, what is important is up to you. How much money you need to be comfortable is entirely very subjective for different people. Somebody a Ferrari is comfortable, somebody else a Nissan Micra is comfortable. Who are we to judge? But certain amount of money is required for everyone. That means every single person needs to have a relationship with money. Every single person. Now, if you negate that, if you deny that, then you're going to struggle with actually bringing the amount of money you want or need into your life. And this is the case with most people. Because they deny that relationship, because they deny the existence of money, that money is not important, and they don't give it enough respect, money doesn't show up, or if it does, it goes out very quickly. And they're always trying to make, ends meet, and then they keep blaming money. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are bad, etc., etc. They have this. They put all their frustration and anger on money, and then they look for examples of people who have money, who are the who are the deep, who are the bad people, who are the the arrogant and egotistical and whatever else, right? Even though there are hundreds of people who are millionaires now, because there's plenty of millionaires. Millionaires is very common now. There are hundreds of millionaires who do philanthropic work, who give, and who are honest and generous and etc. All the good qualities you see in good people. But if you are angry and upset with money, you will go and look for examples to verify and to validate your opinion that money is bad. See, money is bad, and that's why it's made that person bad. Whereas, unfortunately, it's the other way around. Money is neutral. Money is neutral all the time. It's neither good nor bad nor ugly. It's just neutral energy. The person's energy will make it, use the money in a good, bad, or ugly way. That's their energy, not money's. And money, I'm going further and say money is a magnifier. So Vivian, if you're a good person, if you have more money, it will magnify that aspect of you. If you're an evil person, it will magnify that aspect of you. But most people, if they don't have money, they're not able to show the true selves, like be the awful, evil person they are. It's when they have the money, they think, well, now I've got money, I've got power, I can do whatever I want. And then they show the evil side. Conversely, if you're a good person, there's only so much good that you can do, because you have that 9 to 5. You want to make sure that you meet your needs and you're getting the your basic bread on the table. But if you have enough money and you're not worried about your mortgage, your bills, and so forth, then you're able to give your time and your money into causes that you feel good about, be it children, be it animals, be it dolphins, be it churches. Who cares? Whatever whatever resonates with you. Then you use your money for those good causes. And guess what's happened? Money's allowed you to be the bigger, better version of who you originally were. Does that make sense? It just magnifies exactly what's already inside of the individual. And unfortunately, when people have a negative relationship with money, they look for examples to say, see, money is bad. See, money did this. See, money is that. And they blame money, whereas poor money has nothing to do with it. And I do sound like I'm not getting money behalf, I am. I say I've been an advocate all my life, and I'm a lawyer. And now I feel like I'm an advocate for money.
Wow. So what are 3 signs that you can say people should know for them to know that they have a bad relationship with money? What are 3, like even 3 signs, or if it's 1 or 2 or whatever, just so that people have an idea and can know that they are right now having a bad relationship with money?
That's a great question, because I have a lot of people who've actually done, who read all this Think and Grow Rich and all these good books, and they're like, I have a great relationship with money, and I think money is really good. I always say the first point to note is money is very clear cut. It doesn't give any roundabout convoluted signs. If you have enough, if you look in bank account, if you have more money left over than you have the expenses, and you've got savings and you've got money in your bank account, you have a decent relation with money. If you have a very healthy relation with money, you'll be wealthy. So wealthy, whatever the wealthy means for you. Okay? So it's very subjective. All these terms are very subjective, so I'm not going to give you any numbers on that.
Yeah.
That's the first sign. So black and white, how much money is actually in your bank account right now. The second sign is, what do you normally see about money habitually? Do you say, oh, money, money's not that important? Because you can think, no, I have a healthy relation with money, but then you negate it a couple of hours later by saying, oh, money's not really important. I'm more interested in being happy. I'm more interested in giving. I'm not really interested in making money. I'm more interested in making sure that people are happy and people are, why are you interested in making money? Why can't you do both? Why can't you make so much money, help people have a really luxurious lifestyle, and help like half the population of the world by whatever the hell, giving them food or whatever the hell is that you need for them, but enjoy money yourself? Why is there kind of, if you have that notion that there's some sort of nobility in poverty and there's some sort of deformity or evilness being wealthy, that's the second sign. The third one is literally, what do you think of money generally? So not just, no one, someone like me is asking, so what do you think of money? Money means freedom. I ask this in my challenge all the time. What do you think of, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of money? And people say, oh, I think of travel, I think of freedom, I think of, abundance and wealth and I'm like, excuse me, that's BS, right? That's not true. That's absolutely not true. If that would be in the case that you would show up in black and white in your bank account. Money's like that, it show up. So that's what you want to think. What in actual fact you think when you think of money, and you don't just think of money just once, you think of money multiple times throughout the hour, actually, every single hour, throughout 24 hours a day, even when you're sleeping, by the way. Because when you think of money, you're thinking of your credit card bills, you're thinking of your mortgage, you're thinking of your rent, you're thinking of all the things where money's going to go out, and you're thinking, do I have enough to cover all my expenses? Do I have enough to make sure I'll make this commitment? Do I have enough for that holiday that I'm planning? Will I be able to save enough for that? Will I have enough, etc.? Do you see? Will I have enough? You're always questioning that. And if you're questioning, will I have enough? You haven't built that trust relationship with money to know whatever you need, money's going to show up for it.
Wow. And so if people are in those buckets, what 2 or 3 things can people do to change their energy or relationship with money?
I'm going to tell one thing that they can do. Okay. And this is such a powerful tool, and I teach this all the time. I want them to become best friends with money. And this is how I wanted to do that, okay? Because Vivian, if you and I were best friends, if I come to you and say, Vivian, please come to me, please, Vivian, I really need you, Vivian. You may come once think it's very cute, like, oh, she's, who's being very cute, she needs me, that's so funny. But if I'm doing this regularly, you'll get tired and you start making excuses and you try and pull away as much as possible because you feel, suffocated. If on the other hand, conversely, I say, Vivian, girl, how are you? Let's meet up for a chat. Let's go and have a cup of coffee, whatever. You think, we get together, we have fun, we have amazing time together. But then when it's time for you to leave, I'm a bit sad, like, oh, you're going. But I know that we're going to meet again next week or whenever it is, even if we haven't planned something. But I know we're meeting again. You're my best friend. And if you know that I'm in trouble, you're going to turn up before I even know I need it. So you're always going to be my side. You're always going to have my back. You know what? Because you're my best friend. Do you see that? Now we want that kind of relationship with money. So when you have this greed and need for money, money pulls away naturally. It's going to, okay? Like anything else, something we haven't got time to go into, but just take my word for it that everything's energy, including money. And so there's not much difference between you, Vivian, and the energy of money. Okay, it's just energy. It's just you have a spirit and mind, which makes you special. Whereas money is just neutral; it doesn't have a mind of its own, right? But it's energy. So energetically, you either repel money or attract money. Now, if you have this need and greed for money, money may come because you align yourself with something or whatever, but it will leave you very quickly. Plus, it will not bring you the abundance in your health, in your relationships, and in your happiness. On the other hand, if you build a very strong and positive relationship with money and become friends with money, you'll start building the trust that, money has the ebb and flow. Money has to come and go. Money is coming, but money is going. And you allow money to go happily where it needs to go, knowing very well that sooner or later it's going to come back and it's going to be back in your life. So you're going to have money again. And the best way to do that is to create a money avatar. Now, I don't know about you, but it's very difficult for when I started. The reason why this money avatar was born was because I knew I had to become best friends with money. I could not be best friends with a piece of paper. I just cannot. Right? I know, consciously, that energetically it's energy and I'm energy and we're the same. But I couldn't have any feelings or emotions for a piece of paper or coins. I just can't. Right? So. And I remember one of the girls saying, hold piece of paper, hold money and just give love money. And I'm thinking, I can't do that. That's me. I just feel really weird doing that. So this is where the idea of having a money avatar was born, where you personify money. And when people say, well, how do I know what my money is? I said, okay, fine. Well, if you could have your best friend, what would your best friend look like? He or she, right? Okay, so would it be tall, short? What ethnic background would it be? What hair color would they have? What eye color would they have? What would they be in their name? Right? So this is the ideal friend. I don't care if they're from Timbuktu or from Spain or from Japan or from Azerbaijan. I don't care. It's your best friend, so you decide, right? So you have this perfect image of who this best friend would be or is, right? Now, guess what? That's your money avatar. Speak to him or her. And that's slowly you build a relationship. Now, when you speak to this money avatar of yours, this personification of money, and you give them names, for example, mine's Michelle. When I speak to Michelle, it's like having a conversation with my best friend, and I know she's gonna come back. So if anytime I feel like I'm not having a good day with money, or I'm worried about a certain thing or whatever, I'll go and have a conversation with Michelle. And imagine just saying, "God, what are you worried about? Everything's gonna work out fine. If you need my help, I'll turn up. Don't worry. But you're good." Do you see how quickly we went from having the need and greed and like the scarcity mindset to what? Money is my friend. It'll turn up. But I'm not needing money. I'm not greedy for money. I'm not going to take money from you because just to have it. I'm going to allow money to come to me with ease and grace and its own time, and do so that it makes me happy and she's happy, or he or she, whatever your money avatar is, and it creates an abundance in all areas of my life. Because when you meet your best friend, not only are you happy in your that moment in time, it has a knock-on effect on your health, on your mindset, on your prosperity, and your overall confidence in who you are. Can you see how powerful this small concept, this one thing that you can do, has in all areas of your life?
Wow. This is all new to me, and I feel like we could go on and on because I have so many questions about this, but I'm going to be conscious of time as well. This is really, really intriguing. So if people wanted to know more, if they wanted to connect with you, where could people go to connect with you?
Great question. So I have my own podcast, which hopefully, Vivian, you'll be coming on at some point, so we can have you as a guest as well.
Sure.
So we literally recently launched it. So it's called Money Mindset with Gull Khan. You can find us on iTunes and Spotify and everywhere. It's literally everywhere. And we have a website for that too, which is called Money Mindset with Gull Khan, exactly those words. But I also have my main website with my blog, and that is gullkhan.com, which is www.gullkhan.com. And I'm over all social media, and Facebook is the Gull Khan, and then everywhere else is Money Mindset with Gull Khan as my handle.
Right. Thanks, Gull. And guys, like all the, her links will all be in the description as well, so people can freely connect with her. Before we go as well, we've been in interesting times.
Yes.
The pandemic, people have found themselves in funny places, especially with money. Some people started this year with no debt, and now they've ended up with debts. People are trying to, find a way through this mess, and as we all try to build back. What is one advice you will give people to sort of get out of debt and start saving?
That's another great question, Vivian. So I'm going to go back to this advice of building this relationship with money, because what's happened is when this pandemic happened, there was so much fear mongering going on, especially in the media. I don't watch the news. I haven't for years, but I know there was so much fear mongering going on, not just nationally in your country, but globally, because every country was going through the same freaking thing. So most people bought into the fear and didn't lean into faith. And I remember talking about this quite in the beginning time, that you need to lean into faith and move away from fear. Now, when you are leaning into fear, what you're doing is you're taking on everyone's energy, and the more people are worried about businesses are going down, people losing jobs, people don't have money, the more you buy into that concept, which people did globally, the more it's going to show up for you energetically and physically in your life. So those people who did not have debt but bought into the idea, remember, you have to accept it, you have to buy into the idea, but the more it's repeated, the easier it is for you to accept it. So this is repeated again and again and again, job losses and whatever else. Or if you even pick up a newspaper or hear the radio or something, imagine all this rubbish is going through it. Because they bought into the negative idea of money's not around and money's this, and people are losing jobs or whatever, it's even more important to develop their relationship with money by having this money avatar, so that they become aware that there are opportunities everywhere. At any given point in time, even when this pandemic wasn't around, certain industries work well. We know this from the economic cycle. I didn't do economics, but obviously this is basic economics. Everybody knows this, right? And certain industries do well, others don't. It's that's what the history tells us. So I've had clients, and all my clients, touch wood, have actually done really well in this time, because what they've done, because their mindset was correct, they just left one industry and gone to another. So a lot of them, the 2 or 3 of them were in industry, and the travel industry, they saw opportunity in the food, they shifted to food. Right. Another one of my clients, she has a franchise, and she's in the UK with a travel agency. She has a franchise for that. She was really worried. She prayed, and because she had that faith and the mindset that money will turn up and money will show up, she wanted to make money. At the same time, she wanted to help the NHS. Lo and behold, I think a week after we discussed this out loud, and I said, go and do, just go out to the universe and go and speak to your money avatar, see how money can come to you easily and effortlessly. And she didn't mention to me that she wanted to help the NHS. It's only when the opportunity came, she said, look, oh, this has happened. Her head company had arranged a contract with NHS, where all of those people who had the particular franchise, they were in a new contract going to work for the NHS in a particular way, and the NHS was going to pay the company, and the company was going to pay them, so that they are not without money over the next 3 months. Can you imagine that? So not only did she manifest money, but she manifested doing something that she wanted to do, which was to help the NHS. She originally thought she would volunteer for the NHS and do the work, but she was able to do both combined together. That is the power of having the right energy and mindset around money. If you have your energy sorted with money, money will show up regardless of circumstances. On the other hand, if your relationship is messed up with money, you can go bankrupt and go belly up in the best of times. Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, it's been amazing having Gull. Gull, thank you so much for your insights. Again, all her links are in the description. Guys, I hope you found this informative, and helpful as we all begin to as we all bounce back and move forward through 2020. It's been amazing having you, Gull. And, thank you everyone for listening in. Again, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you haven't subscribed to my podcast, all links are in the description, guys. Come on, get downloading, get subscribing. If you have not connected with me on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, what are you waiting for? Let's connect. Until next time on Reset with Dr. Viv, they'll be in the next episode. Take care, stay well, and God bless.
Thank you.